Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. So in today's video, we will be talking about how Ronald Koeman should line up FC Barcelona in this upcoming season. I do now want to make this video because we do have a good idea on what Koeman Barcelona is going to look like. The transfer window is now closed, and so now we have to have this discussion. We are in this 2-week break. I am very sure that Koeman is right now in the Barcelona office thinking about how he should line up this Barcelona squad. And so I also want to give my input and really have this discussion with you guys to understand what type of lineup Barcelona should have. And so look, in this video, I am going to give 3 different lineups on what Koeman's starting 11 could look like. And so first things first, right? Koeman is very fortunate right now to be in this position because what I think is going on right now is that he has all of this talent in his disposal. And because he has so much talent in Barcelona, in his squad, there's always going to be somebody that's going to say, why don't you put this player in? He is good enough to start in the starting 11. So I believe that no matter what Koeman does or what type of starting 11 he does put in place, there is always going to be that one move that everyone is going to want. Whether that's putting Dembele in, putting Riqui Puig in, seeing more of Pjanic, seeing more of Alenya, seeing more of Sergio Roberto, Busquets, and many other players, right? We are in a very fortunate position, especially for Ronald Koeman. And I think that the best solution to this, when it comes to Koeman being criticized of his starting 11, is to always have different lineups in place. And that would also include heavy rotation. And that is why I'm going to give 3 different lineups. And so starting with my first lineup, if we look right here, right, it is a 4-2-3-1 formation. This is the formation that I do expect Koeman to place for the rest of this whole season. It's very similar to what we have seen with Ronald Koeman in these past 6 games. Notice how I did switch Griezmann out for Dembele. I did switch out Gerard Piqué for Araujo. And I did also switch out Sergio Roberto for Serginho Dest. Now, I really want you guys to notice one thing, right? Notice how I made all of these substitutions on the right side. And the reason why I made those substitutions, right, is because statistically, right, if we look at the numbers from the past 3 games in La Liga, you would understand why that right side is the weakest compared to the left wing area and the center area. And I want to show you guys a very interesting statistic that I believe is going to be very helpful for you guys to understand why that right side from Barcelona does need to be tweaked. So let's look at the counter attacks from the previous 3 matches from La Liga. If we look at the total counter attacks, you can see that we have only counter attacked 2 times from the right side. Then in the middle, we can see that we have counter attacked 4 times. And then on the left side, Barcelona have counter attacked a total of 7 times. And so you can see why I'm saying that on that right side, when it comes to the attack, Barcelona does not have the greatest attack in the world. Now you may ask, why is that the reason? Why are we only seeing a total of 2 counterattacks total from the previous 3 matches happen? What is the reason for that? And you guys know where I'm going to go with this, right? The main reason why our right side is so weak compared to the other sides is because we are using 2 players, and that is Antoine Griezmann and Sergio Roberto. While yes, they are decent enough to bring some type of result to Barcelona, I just don't think that it's going to be enough. I just really don't think that when we are in a situation, when we are being placed up against a team like Bayern Munich or Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid or Liverpool or City or Juventus, we must have a team that can fire in all cylinders. And like I showed in this picture right here, yes, are we firing in all cylinders? Of course we are, but I think that it can be improved. I think that this can be stretched out even more. Is it an improvement compared to the previous season under Quique Setién and Ernesto Valverde? Yes, our counterattacks are much more frequent in games today than the previous season. But again, I still think that it can be improved. And I believe that the best way to do that is to put 2 players, which is Serginho Dest and Dembele. And just imagine, right? Just imagine the type of chaos Dembele and Dest could bring when we do get to that final third area. Just imagine that lethal attack. And there is a report that did come out about 6 to 7 hours ago. And it says here, according to Santiago Valle, Koeman has given a few days off to players who don't play with their national team. But for the 2nd day in a row, Dembele and Serginho Dest have trained. And that is why I say, I believe that this lineup here is going to be Ronald Koeman's preferred starting 11 going forward. I think that what we've seen in the past 6 games, in the past 3 games from La Liga specifically, were just test runs. Now, what I believe is going to go on going forward is that we are going to see players like Dembele, Serginho Dest, and many other players participate on the field even more. And I think that we are going to see players like Dest and Dembele really work on creating that type of lethal duo around the box. It's going to be an amazing thing to see. I believe that this is something that many other Barcelona fans do want to see. Now, I know that there is a tactical problem with this starting 11, which is also concerning Dembele and Serginho Dest, and that is that Dembele is not the type of player that's going to go full on and completely press the opposition. Because what we know is this, right? And it's clear, Dembele cannot fully go all out and press the opposition only because he does not want to be in a risk to encounter another injury. That is the game plan. Dembele's game plan with the medical staff and the coaching staff is that he's going to be on the pitch only to make those runs to attack. But to press, to defend, to track back, to go back into your own box, that is going to be a problem. But this is also why I believe Koeman is going to be placing Serginho Dest much more frequent than what we do expect. We do have VINK, who did work with the Ajax Youth Academy, who also coached Serginho Dest. He did speak to The Athletic, and VINK said this to The Athletic: Serginho Dest is at his best when he can move forward and do his thing. He has enormous energy, so he can cover a lot of space. That makes him a modern player, and this is exactly what Barcelona would need. It's someone who can cover all of those spaces, someone who has athleticism. If Dembele can only bring 70% of his defensive game on the pitch, Serginho Dest would be more than capable to make up 30% of what Dembele is missing in terms of the defensive output. And so here's the final verdict. I think that this is going to be the starting 11 we are going to see go up against teams like Bayern, Liverpool, Juventus, City, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, and overall when we are put in those competitive situations. It is going to take time to see the final product, the final version, and the best version of the starting 11, but we could get there. And if there was one man that I would rely on to get these players to work together and really gel together, it would be this man, Ronald Koeman. Moving on to the second preferred lineup, and this is going to be much closer to what we have seen Ronald Koeman put out in the previous 6 matches. Notice how I did make small tweaks in the lineup. Like for example, Araujo, I think that Araujo has to be presented as a main starter in this upcoming season. What Araujo has been showing in the previous matches is absolutely world class. I think that Araujo is more than ready to be that starter and replace Gerard Piqué. I would also love to see a center back duo of Araujo and Lenglet start in that defensive lineup. And so notice how I also added Pjanic. Pjanic is that player that's much more direct, and compared to Busquets, Pjanic is that player that's much more quick. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if we look at Busquets' game, right, and we see what he can contribute on the pitch, yes, does he know exactly where to put the ball when it comes to putting the ball into space? He does. Busquets has the experience. What I really do think is harming him though is his timing on those passes. And if there was one player that I could name to take on the responsibility and the role of Busquets in that double pivot alongside De Jong, it would be Pjanic. And we know, right? We know how Pjanic does provide that energy in the midfield. He's much more quick in his passes. We already know how Pjanic can play, and I do believe that he can continue to bring that type of offensive output throughout the whole course of this season. And so notice how I do place the same front four that Koeman has been placing in the previous matches. I think that this is a front four that has proven that it could work, but I just don't think that this is going to be the ideal front four when it comes to playing against teams like Bayern Munich or Manchester City. And the reason why I continue to repeat that same phrase is because I think that there is a huge lesson to be learned when it came to that match against Bayern Munich in the UCL. We really did struggle on trying to get away and try and take advantage of Bayern Munich's high line. We did not do anything with that, and I think that now that we do have the players to really take advantage of those type of teams, it would only make sense to put players like Dembele, Ansu Fati, Trincao, and many other players who provide the pace on the field. That is why I say that when we do place players like Griezmann, that should be the second option for Ronald Koeman. And that is why I say this is my second preferred starting 11. Moving on to my last preferred starting 11, which is my third choice. These are going to be moments more for the lower teams or maybe a Copa del Rey match. And so this is going to be my starting 11. If Koeman can give us this type of starting 11, where we do see Riqui Puig, Pedro, Trincao alongside Lionel Messi, I would be extremely happy to see a starting 11 like this. And the fact that we could see Riqui Puig be in the center of all of the action and work with players like Trincao, Pedro, De Jong, and Busquets, that's going to be an amazing thing to see. And I believe that many people also do want to see that. And what's even going to be more amazing is the fact that we're going to see Riqui Puig start in that starting 11 in the first place. Koeman has already expressed multiple times that Riqui Puig is going to find it extremely hard to find minutes in this team because of how competitive it is. But I think that there is moments throughout the season where Coutinho can take that step down, be on the bench, and have Riqui Puig take that spot. Now, if you guys are wondering, why are you putting Busquets in that double pivot when you just explained that Pjanic could take on that role. Like, do you not think that that's going to be a problem when it comes to the defense? But here's the thing, right? I think that if we were to see Riqui Puig's defensive output on the field, Riqui Puig is that guy and player who can do the defensive work that Busquets cannot place on the field, which is why I am so comfortable with putting back Busquets alongside De Jong and many other players. And that's what's so great about Riqui Puig, right? Is that he can do both. His offensive output and his defensive output is actually one of the best in Barcelona. And one of the best examples we have seen when it comes to Riqui Puig defending and tracking back was against Thomas Partey, and that was between Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. And since we are talking about the defensive output, I also do want to name Pedro, who's on the left side, which is why I also placed him on the left wing area. He is a player that knows how to attack. He is a player that knows exactly what he's doing. He's a very mature player, and there were many moments in the previous match where we did see Pedro run up and down on the field. Pedro can be that player that can defend extremely well. Now, many of you guys are going to say, why are you so focused on the defense when it comes to Riqui Puig and Pedro? That's not what they're going to be put there for. But here's the thing, right? Barcelona is a team and has always been a team that cannot just stick to one thing. We can even go back to 2010 and 2011. There were so many moments where even players like David Villa and Pedro had to come back down and defend their own team. It's just what Barcelona is. If you can do both, you're most likely going to be in that starting 11. That is what makes Barcelona Barcelona, is that you can attack and you can defend. There are many times and many players where they do come into this Barcelona team and they don't know how to defend or they don't know how to attack. And that is why I do want to point out the defensive work from Pedro and Riqui Puig, is because we already know what Riqui Puig and Pedro can provide in that final third area. And so besides that, right, I also want to talk about Jordi Alba. I know that Jordi Alba is a player that does not have to play in every match. I think that Sergio Dest is more than capable to play that left back area. I would really like to see that, especially with Pedro, which again is the reason why I did place Pedro on that left wing area. There is still damage that can be done with a starting 11 like this. I think that this is a lineup where you can introduce the up and coming players. This is a lineup to give the youth a chance and to give them more minutes, more specifically to Riqui Puig. This will allow them to understand, to know how to move forward and when to move forward. And lastly, but most importantly, I think that this is a lineup that can be competitive enough to participate in matches in the Copa del Rey and in the lower level teams for La Liga. So let me know what you guys think about these three different starting 11s. It's a very, very exciting time to be a Barcelona fan. There are many great players in this squad. I think that if we can get everything right when it comes to giving the youth a chance and being a competitive team overall in the highest level of football, this could be a great Barcelona under Ronald Koeman. And I am really looking forward to this upcoming season that we do have ahead. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. Please like, subscribe, comment. I'm happy that you guys are here. Again, welcome, and I will see you guys in the next video.